This is the fifth Dharma talk on the second gate, known as Rising Sun. It's about the koan. The gateway to enlightenment stands open. It's a koan of awakening, and we're going to talk about its connection with the practitioner's journey in the Dharma. Now, Zen has long been recognized for its distinctive use of koans, enigmatic statements, stories, or questions that are designed to challenge and transcend the conceptual mind. And among these koans, the phrase, "the gateway to enlightenment stands open." This particular koan holds profound significance. It offers a key to understanding the essence of Zen practice, the nature of enlightenment, and the spiritual journey that we undertake in the pursuit of our understanding of the Dharma. So at the heart of Zen practice is experiential realization of truth beyond words and concepts. And koans such as "the gateway to enlightenment stands open," it serves as direct pointer to the truth. So koans act as spiritual tools to break through the conditioned mind, allowing us as practitioners to perceive reality as it is, free from the illusions created by the ego. So, understanding koans in Zen, we need to appreciate the depth of the koan. And this particular koan, "the gateway to enlightenment stands open," it's crucial to the first understanding that the role that koans play in our Zen training. Now, these koans they're paradoxical statements. They're questions that cannot be solved by logic or reasoning. Instead, they require a shift in awareness or consciousness so to grasp the deeper truth that they contain. Koans are used by Zen teachers to help students break through the limitations of their ordinary thinking and to help them glimpse the true nature of reality. The term koan originally referred to a public record of a legal case in ancient China. But in Zen, it took on a spiritual dimension, as it means to break open the student's mind. Now, these cryptic statements, they are designed to push the practitioner beyond dualistic thinking, where there is a division between subject and object, self and other, or even enlightenment and ignorance. And it's through contemplating koans the practitioner moves forward moves towards direct experience of non-duality, where the ordinary and the absolute are simply seen as one. So this particular koan, the gateway to enlightenment, stands open. This particular koan can be understood as an invitation. The phrase, the gateway to enlightenment stands open, suggests that the path to awakening is already available. There is no barrier. There is no obstruction preventing one from entering. Yet, paradoxically, the koan points to the reality that while the gateway is open, most people do not realize it. They tend to remain trapped in their own mental constructs and habits, simply oblivious to the fact that enlightenment is ever present and accessible. So, in Zen, the idea of enlightenment is not something external to be attained or acquired. It is the inherent quality of all beings, and is referred to as our Buddha nature. So the gateway to enlightenment is always open, because the potential for awakening exists in each and any of us. The problem is not the gate. The problem is not that the gate is closed, but it's that the mind creates imaginary barriers. And it convinces itself that enlightenment is a distant or maybe even an unattainable goal. But this koan challenges the practitioner to let go of these self-imposed limitations and recognize that this enlightened awareness is already present. It's already here and now. So the gateway to truth is always available. But the ego with its attachments and delusions, obscures the view. And it's in this sense, the koan is a reminder that the work of the Zen practice is not about seeking something outside or external. It's about realizing what is already present, what is already within us. So our journey in Zen, our journey in Zen practice can be likened to a journey through the Dharma, where we continually look to deepen our understanding of reality. Now, the Dharma, in this particular context, refers to both the teachings of the Buddha and the underlying law of truth. That the law of truth that governs existence. So the journey in Zen, or the journey of the Zen practitioner, is one of gradual awakening, where each step along the path brings them closer to the direct experience of enlightened awareness. However, the journey is not linear, nor is it based on accumulation of knowledge. Rather, Zen practice involves shedding the layers of delusion and ego, getting below these layers. And the gateway to enlightenment stands open. This koan serves as a beacon on the journey, and it can guide us to recognizing that awakening is not a future event, but rather it's an ever-present reality that can be realized in each moment. Our Zen practice typically revolves around Zazen, sitting meditation, in which we look to cultivate awareness and mindfulness. And it's through Zazen that we can learn to let go of thoughts, let go of judgments, and let go of attachments. And it's this letting go that can create conditions for insight to arise. So, the koan is often contemplated during Zazen as a way of deepening this meditative awareness. And by sitting with the koan, we as practitioners confront the habitual patterns of thought that keep us bound in this samsara, this cycle of suffering. And we are slowly peeling away these layers that are obscuring our true nature. So, the open gate as a metaphor for non-attachment is a metaphor for non-attachment in our Zen tradition. And the concept of non-attachment is central to the practitioner's journey. The open gate can be seen as a metaphor for the statement of non-attachment, where there are no walls, no barriers, no obstructions. Now, non-attachment does not mean disengagement from life, but rather living in a way that is free from clinging, particularly clinging to outcomes, clinging to identities, and clinging to desires. It's an invitation to let go of the very notion of a gate itself. When we cling to the idea that there is something to be gained, then we create obstacles to our own realization. So, in Zen, the process of awakening is not about achieving something outside of ourselves, but it's about recognizing the truth that was always present. So the open gate represents the boundless nature of mind, where it's free from attachments, free from conceptualizations, and free from dualistic thinking. And for us as practitioners on the journey towards this enlightened understanding, this enlightened awareness, it is marked by continual acts of letting go of fixed ideas, letting go of attachments to self, and even letting go of the idea of enlightenment itself. And as we begin to move through these various stages of insight, we can begin to see that the very notion of a gate or even a threshold is completely illusionary. This gate has always been open because there was never a barrier there in the first place to begin with. But there are obstacles to seeing this open gate, despite the fact that the gateway to enlightenment stands open. Most practitioners find themselves facing obstacles on the path. And these obstacles are not external, but they are internal. And the obstacles are rooted in the mind's tendency to cling to attachments, to cling to desires, to cling to conditioned patterns of thinking. The three poisons of greed, hatred, and ignorance are particularly prominent in obscuring the open gate. Greed represents the desire for things to be other than the way they are, whether that manifests in material cravings or a spiritual desire to even attain enlightenment. Hatred refers to aversion, rejection, or resistance to aspects of experience, which create further divisions between the practitioner and the reality. And ignorance or delusion is the fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of existence, where one perceives themselves as a separate self, a separate self isolated from the whole. So the Zen practice confronts these three poisons, and it confronts them directly, often through the challenge of koans. When we work with the koan, the gateway to enlightenment stands open. We are forced to confront the mental constructs that prevent us from realizing the truth. And this koan exposes the way in which the mind tends to create barriers. Now, even though the gate itself has always been opened, we tend to create barriers to see it shut, to see it as an obstacle. But through sustained practice, we can begin to see that these obstacles are self-created, and that as the mind becomes less identified with the ego and its attachments, this illusion of a separation begins to dissolve. And then this open gate starts to become more visible. And then the realization that the gate was always open is often accompanied by a profound sense of freedom and liberation as we begin to recognize our own Buddha nature. But then we look to integrate the koan's practice into everyday life. And that's the true test of a Zen practice. It's not limited to the meditation cushion. And it's these insights gained through Zazen and koan study that must be integrated into everyday life, because that's where we live. So in Zen, the mundane and the sacred are not separate. Every aspect of life is a potential doorway to understanding, to awareness. But the gate is not only open in the present, in the stillness of meditation, but also in the chaos of daily activities, in relationships and challenges. So, for the practitioner, the journey is not about transcending the world, but about embodying the insights of Zen in each moment. And this open gate is a reminder that every moment of life is an opportunity to awaken. Whether you are washing the dishes, or walking through a crowded city, or simply engaging in a conversation, the potential for enlightenment is always present. And as this open gate invites us to live fully in each moment, without attachments or aversions, and to see the sacred as ordinary. And as we progress on the path, we begin to embody these qualities of non-attachment, these qualities of compassion and wisdom. And we start to see their interactions within the world. So the journey through the Dharma is not just a personal quest for awakening, but it's also a way of living that benefits all beings. And the realization that the gateway to enlightenment stands open is not just a personal insight, but a universal truth that guides us in our relationships, in our contact with others, and our interaction in the world. So, in conclusion, this ever-open gateway and this endless journey, in the koan, the gateway to enlightenment stands open. It encapsulates the essence of Zen, the practice, and our journey in the Dharma. It serves us as a powerful reminder that this enlightened awareness, this enlightened understanding, is not something to be attained in the future, but it is an ever-present reality that can be realized in each moment, in each action. Because the gateway is always open. But it's the mind's attachments, delusions, and ego that obscure this truth. But through the practices of Zen, koan study, and integration of Zen principles into daily life, that we can gradually come to see that there are no real barriers to awakening. We come to see that these huge obstacles that we find, they're simply self-imposed. And the practice is about letting go of these obstacles, to recognize this open gate that has always been there, has always been open. So this journey in Zen is both simple and profound. It is a journey of returning to one's true nature, which has never ever been separate from the truth. So this particular koan, it serves as both a guide and a challenge, pointing the way towards awakening, while demanding the practitioner to let go of all concepts, including the idea of the gate. And it's in this way the koan becomes not just a riddle to solve, but rather a living expression of the boundless freedom that lies at the heart of Zen practice. So ultimately, the gate is not a destination, but it is an ongoing realization. And as we walk through the gate, as we pass through the gate, we come to realize that the journey of awakening is endless. Because each moment offers a new opportunity to step through the gate and experience the Dharma more fully. So the gateway to enlightenment stands open. And all that is required is simply the courage to step through it. Thank you for listening today.